So I was reading through, just kind of reflecting on the program overall. 6 straight seasons, 20-plus wins, 6 straight postseason appearances. I'm from New York. When I talk to people back in New York, they don't talk about San Diego State season by season anymore. They go, oh, that's a program now. Steve's got a program. You know, what did it take to get to that point? You've got to have a great sense of satisfaction about the people's view from the outside of what San Diego State is now.
I like you, Blaine. You say what I've said we had to do to be successful. We want to be viewed as a program that's good. That even though you lose 4 starters and 6 players, which is what happened to us now, we're still talked about. And still talked about as a team that could jump up and bite and jump up and contend for a conference championship. That says a lot about where we have come, what we've done, and obviously winning allows that to happen. And not just last year. Last year was the culmination of 6 straight of over 20 wins. And we're all very proud of that. But last year was a coach's dream. And I've done it long enough to know that what we accomplished, what our team accomplished last year, rarely does that happen for an athlete, student athlete, and rarely does it happen for a coach. To win 34 games, to be rated in the top 10 for a good chunk of the season, to get as high as 4 or 5, to be rated 2 in the tournament, to get to a Sweet 16, to win 34 games, to sell out every game but one. It makes us all burst with pride.
You know, it is amazing to me the transformation that the arena has had. I'm talking about in terms of fans over the years that I've been covering games down there for 25 years now. It is amazing. There also has to be a great sense of pride about capturing the imagination of this community over the last several years.
No question about it. When we came to town in 1999, everybody said, San Diego State is a destination spot for vacation, and it's an event city. They'll come for a Super Bowl. They'll come for a big name. They'll come if you win big. But those are all mandatory for them to come. We got them coming. We had them. We sold out Division III game on New Year's Eve last year, which says a lot about what we've done. And this is no disrespect to the Chargers or the Padres, but we were the talk and continue to be the talk of San Diego, and that's San Diego State Aztecs men's basketball, and that makes me feel good about everything. More tickets now have been sold, a lot more than last year, season tickets. Mm-hmm. Now the sticky wicket will be to win, to get them all to come and have those same type of crowds with the atmosphere we have and all those nutcases jumping up and down going, we believe that we will win. It feels good.
I even noticed it carried over to football. The show showed up at the football game I did a few weeks ago. Usually football leads the way in most universities, but I think at San Diego State right now, basketball leads the way and the fanship carries over to football. That's amazing, isn't it?
I was also very pleased when I saw that first football game, Cal Poly, when we had about 7,000 to 8,000 students at that game, and you could feel them. First time in a football game that I felt that way, and I know Rocky Long, our football coach, felt the same way. And then they had, I believe, 9,000 against Washington State, and maybe the same amount when we played TCU. So it does feel good, and I think as a student, part of your experience is being able to participate and get involved and be involved in the extracurriculars of sports, and our fans are now doing that.
It's exciting. It's fun for us too while we're there. I love the vision that everybody's caught down there. Well, now you mentioned you've got the vision. This is a program. It's not just a team every year. It's a program, and you mentioned it. It's what do you do now? The expectations are there. They're really, really high, and you lost 4. Not just really talented players, outstanding leaders that have been around for a long, not just four starters, but I think some of the other guys that came off the bench for you, Brian Carwell over the years was a leader as well. So you've lost some leadership and some talent. How do you, account for and make up for that kind of a loss?
My stock answer when people ask, I'm nervous, but I'm nervously excited and anxious to see what we will become. We're going to be different, no question about that. We have only 9 scholarship players that will suit up. We have 2 sitting out that if they could play, we'd be a lot better. We'll be more guard perimeter driven than we were the last couple of years. I think guys that played subservient roles, even though Chase Tapley is a 2-year starter going to be a 3-year starter, he was our 5th option. He's now going to be maybe our 1 or 1A option, along with James Rahan, who really is a starter. He played starter minutes. So the two of them, I know they can score the ball. I know they won't blink when the camera comes on. I think who will fit with them, will they be able, though, to be those primetime number 1 options when they're the number 1 option on the opponent's board, and they are the focus on the opponent's board. So all of that, and then the inexperience of the newcomers and the guys returning that didn't get much of an opportunity to play, I'm anxious to see what we will transform into.
People talk about Kawhi Leonard and Billy White and those guys, and it seems like they could get a rebound anytime you needed it. Great front line. Probably the most underrated player in the league the last couple of years has been DJ Gay. You and I have talked about that a lot. The void to fill with him is a guy that makes everybody else on the floor better. Who on this year's team can perhaps step up and take that role to make everybody else on the floor better?
I made a similar statement with DJ's value. I said DJ is not our best player, but he's our most important player. Played 38 minutes a game, went 4 or 5 games without a turnover. He never did a foolish thing that would cost you a game. And he had 3 game-winning baskets for us last year, and he was a guy that you could depend on, and not just last year. So now we're taking away a guy that was the fixture for us. He had the ball when we had to have something good happen. Who's going to be that person? And that's the uncertainty that we have, but also the excitement of it. I love Xavier Thames. Sat out last year, Washington State transfer, has 1 year of major college experience, 1 year, practicing as the scout team's best player. He can play the point. He can play off the ball. He's going to be a very good player for us. And LeBradford Franklin, LB, who's a legitimate point guard, knows how to play. He will be challenging for minutes and opportunities. So to see how that plays out that's part of what we're excited about also.
Tapley had some quality minutes last year and made some big. In fact, he had moments where you're thinking, man, this kid can be really, really good. What's his strength, and what do you see as him contributing this basketball season?
Chase is going to have to look in the mirror and say, I'm the only 2-year starter on this club. What responsibilities do I have to lead this team? And how will I lead? Chase is not a vocal guy, so I don't think you can make a guy be something he's not. But he has to be rock solid with how he prepares, how he practices, how he comes to play, and then he needs to perform. He's going to get a lot more opportunity to do what he does best, and that's score the ball. And he can score in a lot of ways. He's not just, and I could substitute Tapley for Rahan, really. He doesn't just catch shoot. He can score off the dribble. He's got a great little floater going to the rim. And if you look back to him in high school, he averaged 30-plus points a game out of high school, was a player of the year in Northern California. He can play. He's a really good player that, because we had so much depth, he was probably our 5th option for 2 years.
Now, on the front line, I think about losing Kawhi, Billy, Malcolm, as I said, those are guys that you could just say, hey, we have to have a rebound, and you knew you were going to get a rebound when you had to have a rebound. Who can we look for on that front line that can fill that role? We got a little manna from heaven when Garrett Green transferred in. The 22-year-old, 5th-year senior that can play immediately. Played 3 years at LSU. Big body, good athlete. He's going to have a great opportunity to step in and demand that he be on that floor. And he's a presence. So I'm anxious to see how he'll perform once we
get into non-conference and then into league play. But we're excited about him. We're also anxious to see if Tim Shelton can have a semi-injury-free season, which will allow him to play 20-plus minutes a game. If that happens, we'll be a lot better team. Tim's a great young guy who's a terrific leader, who's a really good player that the last 2 years has not had an opportunity to play because of the problems that he's had with his knees. A lot better now, and hopefully we'll be able to keep him that way where he will be a factor for us. And that's huge. And then Alec Williams is an undersized inside-outside player who's skilled. I think he can be a hard guard for opponents, for a big guy, because he can shoot it and he knows how to play. He's quick inside. So I know he's been disappointed with lack of opportunity, and he's going to get that this year.
So what about Deshaun Stevens, transfer from Santa Monica? What can you tell us about Deshaun?
I didn't mean to leave Deshaun out. He's a terrific athlete, a great young guy. He had surgery on his knee the Friday before Labor Day, had meniscus repair, so he missed out on some valuable preseason, but he will be with us on Friday when we open our practice season. A terrific athlete, a great young guy, somewhat limited, and not somewhat. He's raw from an experience standpoint. Did not play high school basketball, so he's like even though he's a junior, he's a babe in terms of what's going to happen with his game. I think he's a guy that you could see monumental improvement as his junior year and then senior year go by.
What are you most anxious to see on this team as you get together and start this week? Areas that you want to see progress as you head into the season.
I'm anxious to see, will someone other than a coach step up and lead the team? Lead vocally, lead by demanding that things be done, lead not just by example. I know we'll get guys that will work hard, so I'm anxious to see what will happen there. Then our job will be, what will be our best lineup? Can we go with the traditional big lineup with two of those bigs that we just talked about? Can we play a four-guard lineup with a guy like Jamal Franklin, who's a really, really good athlete, but he's probably 6'4.5"? Can we play him as your, quote, four-man and be able to defend and rebound in the post area against really good bigs? So that will be the challenge. And then we were really good defensively, not just because we guarded well on the perimeter, but we had guys that changed angles when it got into the rim. Malcolm and Billy made it hard for you to get layups, and we don't have that this year. We'll have guys that be able to step up and take a charge, but we won't have the shot blockers, the guys that truly do get into your head as you get into the lane area. So we'll see. I'm anxious to see how that will factor into our overall team defense.
What will be the strength of the team? I don't know this is a prediction because you really don't know till you get out there, but in your mind, coming from the off season and knowing what you have, what might be a strength going into the season?
I think one degree of certainty is we'll be pretty good on the perimeter. We need to be exceptional on the perimeter. I know we'll be able to shoot the ball better on the perimeter because we'll have multiple guys that can take and make three-point shots, and our fans won't cringe when they do it. I think we'll be that will be our strength. We'll be guard-oriented, and yet if you don't throw that ball inside, you can't win. So we have to be able to get the ball inside, and whether that's going to be off the dribble, whether we're going to be able to throw it to one of our bigs, whether we'll have a Jamal or a big wing that we'll be able to throw it into like we did a few years ago with Lorenzo Wade. Those are all the things that we have to experiment with and explore.
Well, the league's a little bit different this year. Some teams out, and the new Boise State in. As you look at the makeup of the league this year, what's your just overall view of the conference race this year?
We will miss Utah BYU. Their names, their successful programs. I don't miss going to Provo. I won't miss that, but I'll miss having them in the league. And yet, with change comes new blood, and we're bringing Boise in. the two best teams, from what everybody is saying, and I don't even know who they've got other than they're going to be good, and that's Vegas and New Mexico, Vegas. I believe that they're probably a cut above on paper than the rest of us, with experience, with the guys they had sitting out, with what they've done. That doesn't mean that ourselves or Colorado State or somebody else can't jump up and challenge to win the league, and that's the exciting part about it. It's going to be really, really good basketball once again in an exceptional league that's impossible to win on the road.
Well, we appreciate it. Great testament to what you guys have built down there. I mean, to lose 4 guys like you're losing and to have everybody still considering that top 3 in the league is really a testament to what you guys have built. So,
I appreciate you saying that, and we're proud of what we've done, but like everybody knows, what have you done for me lately? So we need to come out and perform, and that's like all the teams in our league. That's our objective.